Imagine a man who, rising from humble origins, ascends to command the most feared military force in the Roman Empire, the Praetorian Guard. Lucius Aelius Sejanus not only won the soldiers' respect, but became Emperor Tiberius's right hand man, accumulating power that rivaled the very throne. But how could someone who seemed untouchable lose everything so swiftly? Instead of celebrating his influence, he became the target of palace intrigues and relentless ambition. In this video, we'll trace every step of his rise and fall. You'll discover how Sejanus manipulated imperial decisions, spread fear among senators, eliminated legitimate heirs, and ultimately was betrayed and executed without a chance to defend himself. You'll go behind the scenes of the power games that turned a simple commander into an almost divine figure. Imagine trusting someone who, behind smiles and honors, plotted your undoing. Here we'll expose secret tactics, unstable alliances, and the precise moment Sejanus plunged into the abyss of dishonor. But before we dive into these tales and curiosities of the Roman Empire, make sure you're subscribed to our channel and hit the bell icon. That way, you won't miss any of our videos brimming with secrets and surprises from ancient Rome. Stay with me until the end to learn how a Praetorian prefect nearly usurped Rome's power and why his fall changed the empire's history forever. Rise of Sejanus, heir to military power Lucius Aelius. Sejanus was born in 20 BC into the respected equestrian class, son of Strabo, who had commanded the Praetorian Guard. Growing up among the Praetorian camps, he mastered strict routines of discipline and the secrets of soldierly loyalty. From a young age, his talent for reading allies and adversaries stood out. A single glance from Sejanus could inspire courage in troops and caution in officers. In 15 AD, when Strabo was appointed governor of Egypt, Sejanus inherited direct command of roughly 12,000 Praetorians. He swiftly centralized the scattered camps of Rome, reinforced the internal fortifications, and reorganized the cohort structure. He appointed centurions and tribunes he trusted, ensuring absolute obedience, without resorting to brute force. With this unshakable foundation, Sejanus elevated the guard from mere imperial bodyguard to a formidable political instrument. His prestige before the Senate and with the emperor grew so great that in no time he did more than command soldiers. He influenced state decisions, recommended magistrates, and operated from behind the scenes of power. It was this total mastery of the Praetorian Guard that opened the doors to imperial trust. Tiberius began delegating his most sensitive decisions to Sejanus, sealing a partnership that would leave Rome at the mercy of its favorite. Alliance with Tiberius. From advisor to imperial partner, Sejanus's star shone brightest when Germanicus, Tiberius's beloved heir, died in 19 AD. Suspicions of poisoning shook the emperor, who felt surrounded by betrayals and rumors. It was then that Tiberius found in Sejanus an unwavering ally, calling him Socius Laborum, partner in his labors. He entrusted the Praetorian prefect not only with Rome's guard, but also with finances and the highest magistracy appointments. While Tiberius spent long stretches on Capri, seeking refuge from Palatine intrigues, Sejanus became his eyes and ears in the capital. In every Senate session, his voice carried imperial weight. In 23 AD, that bond was crowned by Sejanus's elevation to praetor, a rare honor for an equestrian. The pinnacle arrived with a statue erected in his honor at the Theatre of Pompey, announcing to all that true power flowed outside the purple robe. But with that almost familial closeness, shadows lengthened around Sejanus. Jealous senators and members of the imperial family saw him as a usurper, and his ambitions sparked dangerous rivalries. The alliance that lifted him to greatness planted the seeds of conspiracies that would soon sap his influence. In the heat of such absolute power, Sejanus believed himself invincible, but behind the smiles and compliments, hidden alliances plotted his downfall. Reign of Terror. Informers, accusations and silencing. Riding the wave of his rise, Sejanus consecrated fear as his chief governing tool. Networks of informers roamed Rome's streets, turning every whisper into political currency. Palace scribes compiled daily reports on suspicious tavern and forum conversations. Any citizen, from humble craftsman to the most influential senator, could be labeled a traitor on a single delator's word. In secret tribunals led by Sejanus's judges, rumors became formal charges. Summary trials sealed suspects' fates. Without offering any defense, many nobles had their property confiscated, were exiled to remote islands, or simply executed. Entire families were plunged into anxiety. One wrong gesture or misheard phrase could cost a loved one's life. Meanwhile, panic spread through the neighborhoods. Roman honor, rooted in virtues and mos maiorum, gave way to suspicion and silence. Piazza debates fell silent, replaced by hurried footsteps and wary glances. Social cohesion frayed into strands of paranoia, eroding trust between patricians and plebeians. Though it maintained outward order, this regime of terror corroded the empire from within. Obedience, enforced with iron and fire, would soon prove a fatal trap for its creator. And it was under this veil of terror that Sejanus plotted his darkest move, eliminating Drusus, Tiberius's son, sealing his power, but also sowing the seeds of his own ruin. The elimination of Drusus, obstructing the heir Lucius Aelius. Sejanus identified Drusus Caesar, Tiberius's son, as the greatest obstacle to his ambition. Young Drusus, beloved by army and people alike, symbolized dynastic continuity and eclipsed the prefect's prestige. To secure his own path to power, Sejanus devised an uncompromising plan. In secret collusion with Drusus's wife, Livia, and a trusted physician, he poisoned the prince in 23 AD. The lethal dose was administered under the guise of a headache remedy, and Drusus died within hours, shocking all of Rome. Yet behind palace doors, everyone knew that the victor of that silent tragedy was not fate, but Sejanus's daring. Officially ruled a natural death, Drusus's passing cleared the way for Sejanus to consolidate his influence over Tiberius. The prefect believed he had removed his most dangerous rival and cemented his place as the emperor's unofficial successor. But by eliminating the legitimate heir, he also planted distrust among imperial families. No one felt safe in an empire where royal blood could be tainted. With Drusus out of the picture, Sejanus shifted his ambition to new targets, unaware that his triumph had sown the seeds of his own undoing. Blocking the heir, Sejanus then turned all his forces against Agrippina the Elder and her children, igniting a factional war destined to shake the Senate's foundations and revive rivalries that could topple even the emperor himself. Factional warfare. Sejanus versus Agrippina. Sejanus realized that with Drusus gone, true power would shift to Germanicus's family. Agrippina the Elder, sister of Nero and daughter of a military legend, became the dynastic faction's new standard-bearer. To neutralize her, Sejanus unleashed calculated defamation. Bribed senators spread rumors of Agrippina's coup plotting, while messengers delivered false treason charges to Tiberius's ears. In the Senate, Sejanus's allies sparked fiery debates, accusing Agrippina of conspiring with foreign powers. Her sons were branded dangerous rivals and forced into the shadows of power. Old friends, fearing reprisal, abandoned her. Agrippina found doors closed and suspicious looks at every turn in Rome. On the streets, intrigue simmered. Taverns buzzed with tales of secret letters and midnight meetings. At every corner, one word could exile someone. Senate unity fractured, and even Tiberius from his island refuge watched helplessly as court disputes consumed his regime. And it was amid this whirlwind of accusations that Sejanus prepared his next ruthless move, to eliminate Agrippina and secure a clear path for his ambition. Don't miss the next session, where we reveal how lies became death sentences and unleashed chaos on Rome's aristocracy. The cult of Sejanus, statues, altars, and near-divine power, with his rivals silenced, Sejanus soared beyond politics into near-divine reverence. In the theater of Pompey, bronze statues of his imposing figure, marshaled and armed, stood as if he were Rome's new protector. Public squares hosted altars to Clementia and Amicitia, linking his name to mercy and friendship, values dear to the people. Orators hired by Sejanus praised his magnanimity and love of the fatherland, turning each speech into an act of worship. White animals were sacrificed in solemn processions to honor him. Within weeks, his birthday became an official holiday. Purple banners adorned every street, and artisans spread inscriptions lauding his brilliant leadership. Even coins bore his portrait, an unprecedented affront, equating a man's face with the imperial family's violated Rome's most sacred traditions. This public adulation proved that Sejanus commanded not only the Praetorians, but the very hearts of the citizens. But as Rome exalted him into living legend, whispers of doubt rose among former allies, questioning whether any man could truly stand so close to the gods. While Rome worshipped him like a god, Sejanus plotted the bold move that would send Tiberius to Capri and place him in total command, revealing the true breadth of his ambition. The Great Isolation, Tiberius on Capri, Sejanus in command in 26 AD. Sejanus persuaded Tiberius to undertake a coastal campaign and then retire to Capri, away from Palatine intrigues. There, the emperor believed he would find peace, while the prefect ruled Rome. Sejanus took over all communications. Every letter and messenger to and from the island was vetted by him. He decided which senators could directly approach Tiberius and which petitions would reach his desk. To Romans, it seemed as if the emperor himself issued orders from Capri, when in reality, Sejanus wrote every decree. With this near absolute control, he appointed magistrates, reshuffled offices, and shaped officials' careers. Rome became a chessboard on which the prefect moved pieces according to his personal strategy. Meanwhile, Tiberius remained isolated, oblivious to conspiracy rumors swirling at court, believing himself secure behind Capri's shores. However, by removing the emperor from the capital, Sejanus also exposed him. Documents and denunciations began to pile up on Capri, exposing Sejanus's ambition and excesses. Someone in the shadows was preparing revelations to shake his power's foundations, and it was in this false calm that Sejanus launched his final persecution against Agrippina the Elder and her children, setting the stage for the confrontation that would seal Rome's fate. The final persecution, the fall of Agrippina and her sons, in 29 AD, the death of Tiberius's wife opened a new opening for Sejanus to finally destroy the influence of Agrippina, daughter of Germanicus, and her sons. Taking advantage of the Imperial, Mourning, the Praetorian prefect spread accusations of arrogance and conspiracy against the royal family. As soon as the Senate received these accusations, an official decree declared Agrippina and her heirs public enemies. Agrippina was torn from Rome and sent into exile on the island of Pandateria, where she suffered cruel humiliations that cost her an eye. Nero, her eldest son, found himself confined to an isolated palace, guarded day and night, deprived of all privileges, and reduced to a mere shadow of his former self. The streets of Rome were plunged into a climate of terror. Neighbors spied on each other, and any gesture of solidarity with the imperial family could mean imprisonment or even silent death. While the people trembled, Sejanus reassured Tiberius. on Capri, sending reports of absolute loyalty and painting a picture of ruthless order. To the emperor, these extreme measures seemed necessary for the stability of the empire, not realizing that they served the agenda of a single man. By crushing the last resistance of the Germanicus dynasty, Sejanus believed he had sealed his power forever, but behind the scenes, a revenge plot was being plotted that would bring his empire to its knees. The Senate's theatrical coup, Sejanus's sudden downfall on October 18, 30 West AD, Rome witnessed a coup worthy of Greek tragedy. After receiving a letter from Antonia Minor, Livia's mother, revealing documents of Sejanus's boundless ambition, Tiberius plotted his counterstrike. Pretending to forget, he summoned the prefect to an honor ceremony in the Senate. That morning, Sejanus entered the Curia amid Praetorian applause, confident of another triumph. Yet as he took his seat, Naevius Macro, recently appointed chief of the Vigiles, sealed the doors. The city watch surrounded the building, and the document Sejanus read, disguised as a decree granting tribunician powers, actually ordered his immediate arrest. In seconds, the man who once issued sentences with a gesture found himself shackled and defenseless. The silence he had imposed on others became total obedience to the imperial command. With no appeal possible, he was escorted away, and his name, once etched on statues and coins, began vanishing from Rome's records. The reversal was so swift that many senators, stunned, only grasped the trap's enormity when the chains clanged against the marble. The supposedly untouchable man proved that power rests entirely on an emperor's trust. When masks fell and the echo of chains faded, Rome readied itself to choose a new guardian. And in the silence left by Sejanus, another figure began emerging from the power's shadows. Damnation and Oblivion, the tragic end of Rome's most powerful man. After his lightning-fast arrest, Sejanus was dragged back to the Senate for a summary trial. Charges of treason and boundless ambition left no room for defense. Within hours, verdict and execution followed mercilessly. His public death served as a stark warning to anyone daring to challenge the emperor. Next came Damnatio Memoriae. Statues raised in his name were toppled, inscriptions obliterated, and his image erased from coins and monuments. His family, deemed extensions of his betrayal, suffered ruthless persecution. His eldest son was executed. Junilla, his 4-year-old daughter, died of starvation in exile, and Livia, consumed by disgrace, took her own life. Even his most loyal followers vanished, a human storm sweeping away every trace of his memory. As Rome recovered from the trauma, Tiberius proclaimed Caligula, Germanicus's grandson, as his official successor. Caligula's rise ended the dark reign of the Praetorian Guard under Sejanus and ushered in a new chapter of imperial history. Though order was restored, the echo of Sejanus's terror lingered in Rome's collective conscience. If this portrait of ambition and Roman justice captivated you, leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. You'll help us keep delivering high-quality historical content. Thank you for watching, and see you on our next journey through ancient Rome.